Let's check out logic flows. Logic flow is basically a very essential aspect of Zimension where you can control complex behavior of different parts and logics and algorithm. For that, this is the panel where you can create multiple logics. So logic flow consists of three essential functionalities or behaviors. First one is trigger events. So an event trigger is basically after what event, what different set of events you want to trigger, and you can also add a delay over here, right? Next part is changing the variables. Yes, as I mentioned, also have variables where you can store different things like string numbers or even true false like boolean. And lastly, you can also check condition on a particular event, right? So we'll go one by one. So for the start, let me give you very basic examples of this. Now let's say this zombie will attack me, and because the animation is playing bit there is a delay of animation. So instead of we'll first remove the interactions, right? Now this attack me event will be triggered when I collide with the zombie. Okay, so like on collide, instead of attack me, I'll create an event like collide zombie. Okay, and let's say the swing animation of his hand over here, it takes around zero point 0.7 or zero point 0.8 second, so that the when my character dies it should look properly. So I'll click on logic and I'll click on new logic, and this logic should begin when this event is triggered, collide zombie, and then after a delay of like the 0.7 second it should trigger an event, default event like player dead. I'll click on add, so this logic will be added. If I click on play, okay, so the attack animation is not getting triggered. Let me add that first. But you saw that like after 0.7 seconds delay, the zombie my player was dead. So again what I will do is I will also add another logic flow with the same name, and you can do that. On collide it should trigger straight away, trigger the event of attack me. Where is that event? Yeah, here we go. And you can add different sort of event, maybe like the tree should disappear or any sort of event you can trigger on the go, right? Maybe the waypoint will be shown. Okay, now let's check it out. Okay, see, the timing matches perfectly. Now what about variables? So variables are also very important. So how do I give an example? Yeah, first of all I'll show you like how you can actually debug the variables, because we don't have console, it's a no code platform. The one of the best way and one of my favorite ways to use the text, and here instead of value you can actually choose a variable. But since there is no variable, so we can't have it. So these are some default inbuilt variables which you can use, but we'll just create one now. uh, let's say uh, power maybe. and we'll have it like number, and initially it will be 0. Okay, so this variable is created. Now what we'll do is, now instead of this portions, when I go near the portion, it will increase my power by, let's say, 10 units, right? Or just 2 units. Okay, so I'll remove this event, and then I will add one event called let's say increase power. Okay, why there is a plus icon? Okay, so when I go inside, it will increase the power. And how do we increase the power? Is go to logic flow, create new event, and then use increase power, change variable. Now you should see power is there in the list. Select it, and we don't want to set it to a value. If you want to set it to a definite value, you can directly use equals to, but here if you want to increase, so we'll click on plus button, which will add the value, and then increase by, let's say, 2, right? We'll click on add. Now let's test it out. Oh, 1 second. I know what's wrong. We haven't assigned the variable to the text. So how we will know? First of all, I'll increase the size of this portion so that we don't have any room for error. Also, I don't want this portion to, hinder me. So I'll just turn off the collision. And finally, on the text, I'll attach this variable. So you can see now power is available over here, and it immediately switched it to this thing. And to highlight it, let's make it like more colorful, like this. Now let's see. These are like very functional examples. You see the value, each time I enter, the value is increasing, and the variable value is increasing like anything. So let's say we want to open a door after a variable has increased the value. Like let's say you have collected certain things, right? Like multiple objects and all. So what we'll do is we'll check the condition, and based on that condition, we will, show something, right? So let's say let's move this a bit here, move the zombie away. Okay, now what we will do is we will add some sort of interaction on the tree. Okay, so and also make this number over here so that everything is visible. If I am interacting with this tree, let me add an interaction where it checks. Okay, the name should be check, and we will trigger one event called check power, maybe. And yeah, you must be wondering what exactly this event like this number is. This is basically the delay in which the next interaction is available. So we don't want user to keep on spamming F button each time somebody goes over the tree. This is basically a cooldown for interaction, and you can always have enable on. So let's say you don't want the interaction to be available all the time. You want it to be triggered after a certain event has occurred. You can add that event over here. But let's say we have added this new event called check power. So what it will do is if the power is greater than, let's say, 6, let the power is greater than 6, the stone will start moving. And if I go on stone and see, okay, if the test 1 is triggered, the stone should move up and down. And yeah, this function is happening in the loop. So now let's trigger this condition. Okay, let's check this thing out. First, we need to add another set of logic which will be triggered by check power, and the condition to be checked is if the power is greater than 6, that means 8, 10, 12, it will trigger an event called test1, or it will create some event called show error, maybe show info, anything. And I for users to get some indication, we will add a message showcase, like message showing functionality, where you can write anything over here, like please increase the power. Okay, so it will check power. If the power is more, it will start the stone to move. Otherwise, it will show the info. Okay, let's see it in action. All right. So right now my power is less than 6. Okay, so if I go near the tree, oh yeah, the character switch is also in, but you can see it's now asking me to increase the power. Okay, we have to wait for the 10-second cooldown. Yeah, again it is showing me to increase the power, but when I increase it to more than 6, if I go over here, now the stone starts moving. So that's how you can add a conditional logic, and this can be something very interesting, like you collect x amount of keys or multiple coins to have somebody open a door or give you some item, and then you collect that item, and then you go through a door.